Alright, subchapter C, underground gas storage, Pennsylvania codes. Section 3231, reporting requirement of the gas storage operation. 3232, reporting requirements of the coal mining operation. 3233, general gas storage reservoir operation. 3234, gas storage reservoir operation, coal areas. 3235, inspection facility of the records. 3236, the reliance of the maps and the burning of the proof. 3237, exemption of the prohibition. Alright, 3231. Reporting requirement of the gas storage operation in the general due. The following shall apply with the person injecting into the storage gas of the storage reservoir underlying within 3,000 linear feet of the operating coal mine with the coal seam with the extent over the storage reservoir of the reservoir, particular area shall be within 6 days. File with the department with a copy of the map, the term of the data, in the form of the manner provided in the subsection over the otherwise prescribed with the regulation of the department to the person injecting the gas in the storage gas of the storage reservoir, which is not under 3,000 feet linear feet with about less than 10,000 linear feet from an operating coal mine with the coal seam with the extent over the storage reservoir with the reservoir, particularly the area with the shell file with the map of the data within 60 days of the longer prior period set by the department regulation. 3. The person proposing the inject the storage gas for the storage reservoir located defined with paragraph 1 and 2 shall file with the appropriate required map of the data within the department less than 6 months prior to starting with the actual injection of the storage. 4. A map required with the subsection shall be prepared with a competent engineer and geologist showing with the stadium with which with existing of the proposed storage reservoir with the ore is proposed with the located to the geographical location outside of the boundary of the storage reservoir with the boundaries reservoir protective area. 2. The location of the all known oil gap of the well of the reservoir within 3,000 linear feet thereof of the drill into and there through the stratum with the indicating that they have been or are to be claimed out and plugged with the recondition of the storage along the proposed location, all of the additional wells which are to be drilled within storage reservoir within 3,000 linear feet of thereof. Part of the following, if available, shall be furnished to all known oil and gas wells which have been drilled into throughout the storage stratum of the storage reservoir within 3,000 linear feet thereof. The name of the operator, date of the drill, with the total depth of the projection of the well was productive of the oil, of the gas, and of the interstitial rock pressure for the volume of the depth of which well the coil seems to be encountered. Any of the copy of the drill loggers, the other similar information from the time of the filing of the map and data and statement that shall be filed. The detailed efforts may be determined with the wells that shall be accurately located on the map. 2. The affirming the well show the representative of the best with operator knowledge of the oil and the gas of the well that have ever been drilled into the below the storage stratum and the width of the proposed storage reservoir or the reservoir protected area. 3. The stating whether the initial injection is for the testing purposes. 4. The stating of the maximum pressure for the injection and storage of the gas is contemplated. And 5. The providing of the detailed explanation for the method that be used that previously have been used, drilling, cleaning out, reconditioning, plugging well of the storage reservoir within the reservoir protected area. 6. The map of the doom required with the file under the paragraph 5 of the shall be amended with a supplement with a semi-annual material change of the curve of the department may require with the storage operator with the demand with the supplement the map of the data with the more frequently intervals of the material changes from the curve with the justifying earlier filing. B. Other reporting requirements. The person who would be injecting the gas in the storage gas of the storage reservoir not at the time of the subject with the subjection A with the bypassing other toll of that of the secondary recovery of the gas recycling shall within 60 days of the longer period set by the Department of Regulation file with the maps. Data required with the Department of Regulation is filed with the person who after April 18th, 1985 proposed to inject with the storage gas of the storage reservoir in an area that is not covered by subsection A with the process of the other than that secondary recovery of the gas site recycling shall file with the required map data of the department not less than 6 months with the prior to starting with the actual injection of the storage. 2. The map shall be prepared with a competent engineer with a competent geologist show that 1. Stratum of the existing proposed storage reservoir is to be located. 2. The geographical location of the outside of the boundary of the storage reservoir. 3. Location all known oil and gas wells within the reservoir within 3,000 linear feet with air over the beach drilled into and the storage stratum indicating that have been and are to be cleaned out with a plug reconditioned with the storage of the proposed location of the additional well of which are to be drilled within storage reservoir within 3,000 linear feet thereof. The following, if available, the furnish for the all the known oil gas wells that have been drilled into through of the storage stratum and the storage reservoir within 3,000 linear feet thereof. The name of the operator, date drilled and total depth over the production of which if the well was productive of the oil gas, initial rock pressure, and the volume of the copy of the drill logs. Other similar information at the time of the filing of the maps of the data. The statement shall be filed with 1. The detailed efforts made to determine the well show if they accurately located on the map. 2. The firming of the well show the representative of the best operative knowledge of all the oil and the gas wells have ever been drilled into and below storage stratum within the proposed storage reservoir. 3. Stating whether the initial injection of the testing purposes or the starting with the maximum pressure for the injection storage gas is contemplated. 5. Providing a detailed explanation method that you previously have been used for drilling and cleaning out the reconditioning, plugging the well in the storage reservoir. 4. The map and the data required with the file under paragraph 3 shall be demanded with a supplement of the semi-annual material changes occur with the department that may require the storage operator to amend the supplement of the map of the data. More frequent intervals material changes if they occur with the justified earlier filing. See political subdivision. Storage operators shall be given the notice to the department to the name of each of the political subdivision county with which the operator maintained with the operator with the gas storage reservoir. D. Notice the effective term of at the time of the filing with the map of the data with the filing with the amended with the supplemental map with the data with the required with the section of the purpose of the person filing with the information for the given the written notice of the filing to all of the person who may be affected by the provision of the chapter by the storage reservoir described in the map of the data. Notice shall contain with the description of the boundary for the storage reservoir when the person operating with the coal mine owning an interest of the coal properties which are maybe affected by the storage reservoir required for the requiring a copy of any of the map of the data file with the department. A copy shall be furnished by the storage operator. Each outside boundary. The purpose of the chapter of the outside boundary of the storage reservoir will be defined with the location of the well, with the round, with the peripheral of the storage of the reservoir, which have no gas production when then drilled, and the storage stratum in the boundary shall be originally fixed with the subsequent chain of the infinite body with the number and the nature of the well, with the geological production knowledge of the storage of the stratum and the charter permeability distribution operation experience is determined in conference under section 3251 of the relating to the conference. The modification shall be made. If inapplicability of the section, the requirements of this section shall not be applied with the operator of the underground gas storage reservoir so long as the reservoir is located more than 10,000 linear feet from the operating coal mine, except for the storage operator shall give the notice of the department with the name of the political subdivision county with which the operator maintain with the operator of the gas storage reservoir with the public subdivision with the county with the both of the storage of the reservoir with the coal in the mine with it being operated. The department may record the storage operative with the furniture map showing with the geographical location outside boundary of the storage reservoir. The department shall keep the record of the information promptly notify the coal operative of the storage operative notified by them of the coal mine with the storage reservoir within 10,000 linear feet of each other. Alright, 3232, reporting requirement of the coal mining operation. General, the person owning with the operating with the coal mine shall file with the department to be prepared with the shield by with the competent individual license, the professional engineer, professional land survey with the under provision of the Act of the May 23rd, 1945, with known as the engineer land survey with the geologist registration law. So the outside with the coal boundary for the operating of the coal mine with existing working existed area with the relationship over the boundary identified with the strip of the property for the landmark of the person owning with the operating coal mine which had been penetrated by the well shall be furnished with mine map to the department each of the year with the indicated with the excavation for the preceding year with the projection for the ensuing year. Ensuing year of the may be required with the subject of the furniture to be a person storing with the contemplating storage of the gas for the vicinity operating coal mines. Upon written requirement of the coal operative of the person of the department shall therefore after be informed of the boundary chain with the time of the chain, but the occur with the department shall keep the record of the information properly notified with the coal operator, storage operative when notified to them with the coal mine with the storage reservoir within 10,000 linear feet of each other. Mines near the certain reservoirs. A person owning with the operating of any with the coal mine which comes within 10,000 linear feet of the storage reservoir with the coal seam with the being operated to the extent of the storage reservoir or the reservoir particular area shall within 45 days receive the notice of the storage operator in fact with the file with the department of the furniture for the person operating with the storage reservoir with the map of the form of the required with the subsection A showing in addition the requirements of subsection A with the existing with the projection excavation of the working with the operating of the coal mine for the ensuing ensuing with the 18th month period of the location or the gas well with which of the coal and operative knowledge of the person owning with the operating with the coal mine shall each 6 months thereafter, however, the department shall with the person with the operating with the storage reservoir for a revised map showing with additional with the excavation work together protected excavating working, then ensuing the 18th month period which may be 10,000 linear feet with the storage reservoir, with the department may require coal operative to file with the revised map with the more frequent intervals of material change if they have occurred, justifying earlier filing. Person owning and operating with the coal mining also file with the department and furniture with the person operating with the reservoir promptly notice of any well which have been cut together with all to be able to provide information. C. Mines near gas storage reservoirs. A person owning with the operating a coal mine with the knowledge of the overlie within 2,000 linear feet of the gas storage reservoir shall within 30 days notify the department and storage operative in the fact. T. Mines projected the near storage reservoir when the person owning and operating the coal mine expect within the ensure with the 9-month period of the coal mine will be extended to the point within 2,000 linear feet of any of the storage reservoir. The person shall notify the department and storage with the operative written in that fact. New mine. The person intending to establish or reestablishing operating coal mine over a storage reservoir within 2,000 linear feet of the storage reservoir over the May within 9 months thereafter be expected to be within 2,000 linear feet of the storage reservoir should be immediately notified the department and storage operative within writing notice that they shall include the date of the person intended to establish or reestablish the operating of the coal mining. Alright, 5. Misdemeanor. If the person served with the notice of the required with the subsection and issue an intention for the establish and reestablish the operating coal mine with the intending with a good faith with the establishment of the reestablish with the mine with the liable for continuing the damage of the storage operator injured by improper notice of the commons for the misdemeanor subject to the penalties, section 3255 relating to penalties. 3233, general gas storage reservoir operations. General rule: a person who operates proposed with the operative of the storage reservoir with a cup of one filled with the secondary recover the gas recycling process shall be used every known method responsible for the under circumstance with the discovery and locating of the well with the tab them and drilled into and through the storage reservoir plug with the recondition filed with the Department of Regulations all the known well with the drill and through the storage reservoir except to the extent of the otherwise provided in subsection B and C. B wells to be plugged comply with the subsection A with the bush are plugged and B plugged in the manner specified in section 3220 relating to plugging requirements. B1 plugs prior to the enactment section. If the well located in the storage reservoir area has been plugged prior to April 18, 1985, on the basis of the data, information from the other evidence submitted with the department that didn't determine if the plug was done in the manner required by section 3220 with the approval of the alternate method in section 3221 relating to the alternate method and plugging is still sufficient to effectively meet the requirements of the chapter of the obligations under subsection A with regarding the plugging the well should be considered to have been fully satisfied. C wells to be reconditioned following shall comply with the subsection A wells which are reconditioned and left with the Department of the Regulations specify the different proceed with the cleaning out with the room of these surfaces with the storage horizon producing casing stripping to determine it not to be in good physical condition shall be replaced with a new casing under the same with the proceed with the applicable drilling of the new well under this chapter. Alright, in this case, the well with the gas storage with the annular space with each with the string with the casing with the annular space with the behind. The largest diameter casing with the extent of the possible should be the filled with the surface of the cement, the anatonic, non-porous material approved with the department under section 3221. At least 15 days prior to the recondition for the storage operator should give the notice for the department of the setting forth the notice of the man with which is plan and recondition the well with any protectant with the data known with the storage operator shall indicate with the condition well existing time with the addition with the storage operator shall give the department at least 72 hours notice of the time recondition at the beginning. If no objection to the raise, the department within 10 days that the storage operator must proceed with the recondition in accordance with the plan with the submitted with the objections made with the department. The department may fix the time with the plans of the conformance under section 3251 relating with the conference to which the storage operator with the department with the shall endeavor to agree with the plan to satisfy the objections. Meet the requirements of this section. No agreement is reached. The department may, and by an appropriate order, determine whether the plan is substituted meets the requirements of what changes, if and any, are required if the recondition well accordance with the plan physical conditions encountered justified with the necessity of changing the plan. Storage operator may request that the plan is changed if the request of the denied the department shall fix the conference under section 3251 and proceed in the same manner as with the original objection. The applications may be made with the manner prescribed in section 3221 for approval of the alternative of the method of the reconditioning as well if the well located with the storage reservoir with the reconditioning was real with equipped prior to April 18, 1985. Obligation imposed with the section A with the reconditioning of the well shall be considered fully satisfied on the basis of the data, the information, and the other evidence submitted with the department if determined 1. The condition of the previous drilling and equipping of the done with the manner required with the subsection regulation propagated under the chapter in the manner approved the alternative method in accordance with section 3221. 2. The recondition of the previous drilling with equipping is still with sufficient effective to meet with the requirements of this chapter. 2. If the well requires emergency repair with the chapter shall not be construed with the required of the storage operator with given any notice required with the subsection before making the repairs. D. Exemption of the requirements of subsection A shall not only inject the gas in the stratum with the sole for the purpose of the injection referred to the subsection testing with determine whether stratum is suitable for the storage purpose of the test shall be conducted only in compliance with the following requirement. The person testing the proposed the test shall comply with the section 3231 relating to recording requirements. 4. Is gas storage operation verified with the statement required to be filled within the section. The storage operator shall get at least 6 months with the written note of the department in fact with the injection of the gas for the testing purpose is proposed. 3. In the department of the objections of the department of the shall fixed at the time and the plans placed for the conference under section 3251 no more than 10 days with the day of the notice of the storage operator with the time on which the storage operator and the department shall attempt to resolve the issue with the president with the agreement that can be not be raised. The department may issue the appropriate order. Alright, E. Failure to execute the lawful order proceeding under the chapter the department determines whether the operative of the storage reservoir will be able to carry out the lawful order with the issue and under the chapter the department may require the operator to suspend the operation of the reservoir withdraw of the gas until the violation is remedied, in which case the storage operative with limited to the diligence and so far existing facility utilized with the remove of the gas the reservoir will be permanent shall be 1. If possible remove the amount required for the department to be removed. 2. In any event remove the maximum amount of the can withdrawn in accordance with the recognized engineering operating procedure. F. Duty. Duty of the storage reservoir operator shall be applied with the aim of the person owning operating storage reservoir. Subject to the chapter shall have the duty to 1. Maintain all of the wells drilled into through the reservoir with the condition operating through the man with the sufficient to prevent the escape of the gas. 2. The operator with the maintained reservoir with the facility to describe the Department of Regulation of the pressure will prevent them from escaping the pressure shall not exceed the highest rock pressure for the found with existing during the production and history of the reservoir and other high pressure limited approved with the Department after hold of the conference under Section 3251 based on the geological production knowledge of the reservoir with the character, permeability, distribution, operating existence. 2. The duty under paragraph 1 shall not be construed with include the inability to prevent escaping of the gas escape of the result of the act of the god of a person not under the control of the storage operator. The instance of the storage operator shall have the duty to take action reasonably necessary to prevent the fully further escape of the gas. The paragraph does not apply with the well to the storage operator with the failed to locate the man make known of the department. Alright, 3234. Gas storage reservoir operation. Coal areas general rule of the operating with the storage reservoir underlined with within 2,000 linear feet of the coal mine with the operating coal seam with the extent of the over the storage reservoir with the reservoir protected area shall 1. Use every known responsible reasonable method of discovering and locating all the wells which have been drilled into through the storage stratum and the area lying with the outside of the coal boundary of the operating coal mine overlying the storage reservoir with the reservoir protected area. 2. Plug and recondition provided in section 3220 with relating to the plugging and requirements subsection E. All of the known well will except the extent of the provided subsection E, F, and G and H drilled into through the storage stratum located with the portion of acreage of the operating coal mine overlaying with the storage reservoir over the reservoir protected area. The objection is raised as to use of a well as a storage well after the conference is under section 3251 relating with the conference is determined by the department taking into account with all the circumstances of the condition of the well should not be used with the storage of the well. The well should be plugged unless, in the opinion of the storage operators of the well, used to be a storage well of the future in the well case upon approval of the department after taking into account with all the circumstances of the condition, storage operator may recondition and activate the well rather than plug it. The requirements of the paragraph 2 shall be deemed to have them fully complied with the operating coal with the mine is extended that all the wells within the time to time come with the acreage described in paragraph 2 with the reconditioned plug with the provided in section 3220 subsection E and F at the time of the coal has been reached from the point with the 2,000 linear feet of the well if they have the reconditioned of the plug in accordance with the 3220 subsection E and F. Or B. Verified statement. A person operating with a storage reservoir referred to in subsection A shall file with the department that furnish a copy of the person operating with the effect of the operating coal mine verified statement setting forth of the map of the map. Supplemental maps required by sections 3231A relating to the reporting requirements of the gas storage operation have been prepared and filed within accordance section 3231. Detailed explanation of the storage operative done with the comply with the requirements of section A1 and 2 with the result of those actions. 3. Such additional efforts if any of the storage operators making an attempt to make a local all plugs recondition to meet requirements of subsection A2. B. 1. Order of the department. If the statement required under the subsection B did not follow the storage reservoir operative at the time specified with the chapter of the regulation of the department may order the operator to file the statement. C. Procedure within 100 days after the receipt of the statement required with the section, the department will then direct with the conference, held with the conference of the according with the section 3251 determining whether the requirements of 3231 subsection A have been fully met with the conference of any of the person believe the requirements have not been fully met with the parties shall be the time with agree with additional activities to be taken with the time for the completion, subject and approval of the department. If any of the agreement cannot be agreed, the department shall make with the determination and the department determines if the requirements of the have not been met. The department shall issue an order that specifies the detailed extent of the requirements must have not been met. Actions of the storage operator must be complete. Meet the requirements of the order shall grant much time reasonable necessary to fully comply. If the storage operators encounter the condition not known exists at the time of the issuance of the order materially affect the validity or ability of the storage operator to comply with the storage operator to apply for a re-hearing modification of the order. Alright, notification. The complying with the subsection A, storage operator, after filing the statement provided in the subsection B, plug with a recondition of the well, the storage operator shall notify the department of the coal-operator effective the writing setting forth of the fourth, indicating the manner with which plugging and reconditioning was done upon receipt with the notification of the coal-operator of the department may require the conference under the section 3251. E. Plugging well. In order to meet the requirements of the subsection A of the well, which with the plug shall be plugged with the manner specified by the regulation, probably given under section 3211, relating to the well permit, the well located within the storage reservoir with the reservoir protected area has been plugged prior to April 18, 1985, on the time basis of the data, information, and other evidence submitted with the department. The It is determined that the plugging was done in the manner required in Section 3220, but the manner approved of the alternative method that accordance with 3221 required relating to alternative method of plugging is still sufficient and effective within the meet the requirements of the chapter requirements of the subsection A of the plugging of the well should be considered as being fully satisfied. If required, a reconditioned well of the following shall apply in order to comply with the subsection B, A, unless the Department of the Regulation specify the different perceived the wells shall be the reconditioned shall be cleaned out with the surface of the storage horizon. The following casing string with it shall be pulled and replaced with the new casing under the procedure that applicable to drilling to a new well under this chapter. When the producing casing to the largest diameter casing passing through the lowest workable coal seam, unless extended at least 25 feet from the bottom of the coal seam and to determine the good physical condition, but the storage operator, instead of replacing the largest diameter casing, place the next largest casing string of the end of the case string with extended at least 25 feet below the lowest workable coal seam. 3 casing string with it needed not to be in good physical condition. 2. In the case of the well, use the gas storage annular space between each string of the casing with the annular space behind the largest diameter casing. 2. To the extent of the possible, should be filled with the surface of the cement with the benatonic mud or equally non-porous material approved with the Department under Section 3221. Alright, at least 15 days before the well is given the reconditioned, the storage operator shall give the notice to the Department of the coal operator, leaser, and owner of the same of the fourth manner with the recondition is planned with a pertinent data known with the storage operator, which will indicate the current condition of the well, along with at least 72 hours of notice of the date and the time. Reconditioning will begin with the coal operator, leaser, and owner will have the right to file with the 10 days after the receipt. Note the objection to the plan reconditioning as submitted to the storage operator if the no objections are filed. None are raised. The Department within 10 days, the storage operator may proceed with the reconditioning in accordance with the plan submitted. The objection shall file with the Department. The Department shall fix the time and the place for the conference under Section 3251 and with the conference of the storage operator with the person have the objection of the attempt to agree with the plan with the recondition of the meet with the requirements of the section with no agreement of the breach for the Department shall by an appropriate order determine the plan with submitted with the meet with the requirements of the section change of that shall be made within the requirements. Everything reconditioned well with accordance with the plan with the physical condition with the encounter with the justified with the necessity change of the plan. Storage operator caller operator may record the data of the plan with the chain with the party but cannot agree with the chain with the Department that shall remain with the conference of determination with the manner same manner set forth the connection original objection of the plan. 4. Application may be made with the Department of the manner prescribed in 3221. The approval of the alternative of the method of the reconditioning of the well located with the storage reservoir with the reservoir particular area, the recondition of the drill with the equipped prior to April 18, 1985, on the basis of the data of the information and evidence subject to the Department of the application to impose with the subsection A after reconditioning of the well should be considered fully satisfied with the term of the recondition previous drilling and equipping was done with the manner required with the subsection regulation promulgated the hereunder with the manner approved of the alternative method in accordance in Section 3221, still efficiently effective to meet with the requirements of the Chapter 5. The well requires emergency repair of this subsection shall not be construed to require the operator to give the notice of the specified herein with the making the repairs. G. Producing wells. If the well located within the reservoir protected the area with a producing well with a stratum below the storage stratum of the obligation then imposed with the subsection A shall not be given until the well sees it's a producing well. 8. Certain other wells within certain reservoir protected area penetrated with the storage stratum does not penetrate with the coal seam with it being mined with any of the operating coal mine with the Department may open an application with the operator to storage reservoir except the well from the requirements of the section. Either party affected may request the conference under Section 3251 with respect to the exemption well covered in the subsection. Alright, plugging limitation. Fulfilling the requirements of the subsection A2 with respect with the well with the reservoir protected the area of the storage operator shall not be required with the plug of the reconditioned well until the storage operator received from the coal operator written notice of the mine workings within the period of stay of the notice within 2,000 linear feet of the well upon receipt of the notice for the storage operator shall be used with the diligence to complete plugging reconditioning of the well in accordance with the requirements of the Section 3220 and if the mine working do not within period of 3 years after the well has been plugged coming within 2,000 linear feet of the well, the coal operator shall reimburse the storage operator for the cost of the plugging and provide with the wells is still within the reservoir protected area with the time. Alright, J. Retreat mining. Retreat mining approach with the point where within 90 days with expect with the retreat work will be located with the pile surrounding the activated storage well with the coal operator shall give the written notice to the storage operator with the agreement of the parties shall determine the well with the necessary advisable with the effect of the temporarily inactive of the well shall not be with the reactivated with a reasonable period with determined by with the practice of the elapse. If the parties cannot agree with the required by the subsection the matter shall be submitted to the Department of the resolution. Number of the wells required to be temporarily activated during the retreated period there shall not be a number of the material effectively efficiently operate of the storage pool. So the provision shall not be precluded with the temporarily inactive of the particular well, with the particular active, the inactive, with the render of the pool temporarily inoperative. Alright, K, exemption. The requirements of subsection A, 1, and M may not apply with the injection of the gas of the stratum within the whole purpose of the injection and refer to the subsection testing to determine whether the stratum is suitable for the storage purpose of testing should be conducted within and compliant with the following requirements. 1. The person testing will propose the testing shall comply with all the provision of the requirement of section 3231 and verify with the statement required with the file with the section. 2. If any of the part proposed storage reservoir is within 2,000 linear feet of the operation coal mine with the operating of the coal seam to extend over the proposed storage reservoir protected area of the storage operator shall give it at least 6 months with a written notice for the department of the coal operator of the fact injection gas for testing purposes is proposed. 3. Coal operator effective may at any time file with the objection of the department, whereupon the department shall fix for the time and the place for the conference on with the section 3251 no more than 10 days of the day with the notice of the storage operator of the conference of the storage operator and the objection of the party with the attempt to agree with the subject of the approval of the department of the question involved in the agreement that not be reached. The department may issue an appropriate order. 4. If any time of the proposed storage reservoir being tested comes under within 2,000 linear feet of an operating coal mine because of the extension of the storage reservoir being tested because of the extension of the establishment operating coal mine required for the subsection of shall be admitted to become applicable testing. Part L. Storage reservoirs near operating coal mines. A person who proposed the establishment of the storage reservoir under within 2,000 linear feet of the coal mine operating with the coal seam that extends over the storage reservoir of the reservoir protected the area shall prior to the establishing of the reservoir. In addition, will comply with section 3231, subsection A, file with a verified statement that required with the subsection B, fully comply with any of the other department that provide with the provided under subsection A, B, and C with the before commencing operation of the storage reservoir after the person proposed the operating storage reservoir comply with the requirements of the subsection of the commencing operation. The person shall continue to subject with all provision of this chapter. Alright, gas storage reservoirs. Gas storage reservoirs operating in operation on April 18, 1985, at any time thereafter under the section within 2,000 linear feet of the operating coal mine or gas storage reservoir is putting operation between April 18, 1985. Anytime when the storage operation begins within 2,000 linear feet of the operating coal mine, the storage operator shall comply with all the provisions of this section except that 1. The time filing verified statement under the subsection B shall be 60 days having the save of the notice and file with the coal operator with under section 3232D and E relating to the reporting requirements of the coal mining operation. 2. The coal operator shall give the notice of the delay with the department. 3. The department shall upon the request of the storage operator extend with the time of the filing with the establishment additional time of the required to extend establishing re-establishing operating coal mine to the point within 2,000 linear feet of the reservoir. 4. The verified statement shall indicate that they remain referred with 3231A that may be currently amended at the time of the filing of the statement. 5. The person operating with the storage reservoir shall be continuing the subject to all provisions of this chapter. Alright, and failure to comply with the order if any procedure within the chapter department determines the operator of the storage reservoir shall have to comply with lawful order of the issue. Then the chapter department may require the storage operator to suspend operation of the reservoir withdrawal of the gas until the violation is remedied, in which case the storage operator limited to the duty of diligency and so far existing facilities utilized with the remove of the gas from the reservoir will permit shall, if possible, remove the amount required by the department to be removed in the event of remove of the maximum amount which can be withdrawn in accordance with the recommended engineering operating procedure. Are preventing escaping gas, additional initial complying with the other provision of the chapter lawfully order of the issue within the chapter shall do the all of the time of the person owning the operating of the storage reservoir of the chapter of the keep all the wells drilled into through the storage stratum in a condition that operated with the well man with which is designed to prevent the escape of the gas out of the storage reservoir and its facilities too with the operator maintain the storage reservoir at its facility at the time man with described the regulation of the department. Pressure that will prevent gas escaping from the reservoir of the facility. The duty shall not be construed to include with the ability to prevent the escape of the gas and escape of the result of the act of the god over a person under the control of the storage operator, except for the exemption that does not include the applied well the storage operator has filed with the locate made known to the department if the escape of the gas result form an act of the god for the person not under the control of the storage operator. The storage operator shall be under the duty to take action reasonably necessary to prevent the further escape of the gas out of the storage reservoir and the facility. Art 32 to 35. Inspection facilities records. General, the person operating with the storage reservoir, the chapters shall all reasonable time permitted to inspect the applicable records facilities of the coal mine and overlaying storage reservoirs and reservoirs, particular area. The person operating a coal mine affected by the chapter shall all reasonable times permitted to inspect the applicable records and facilities, storage reservoirs, underlying coal mines. Order, if the storage operative of the coal operator subsection refuse to permit inspection of the record of the facility, the department may, by its own motion, on the application of the majority seeking an inspection after reasonable written notice, a hearing request to the affected party, order inspection. Alright, 3236, reliance on maps and burden proof. General rule of determining with the coal mine, with the operating coal mine, which will within particular difference store of the reservoir of the material and with the chapter of the owner and operator of the coal mine, the storage operator may rely most recent on with the map of the storage reservoir with the coal may be filed with the other party with the department. Accuracy with the map of the data filed with the owner of the chapter, issue the person filed with the map of the data with the at the request of the operating party to discover the information about the you to comply with the map of the data along with the information available to the person with the mind with the effect of the current validity of the map of the data. 2. Have the burden proving the accuracy of the map of the data. Alright, 3236 with an exemption within prohibitions and applicability chapter of a certain coal mine with a certain chapter does not apply with the following type of the coal mine, strip line with the auger mine operating from the strip of the mine, the form of the act of the June 9th, 1911. Public Law 7569, number 319, entitled the Act to provide with the health of the safety of the persons employed in and about the bituminous coal mines of Pennsylvania, thereof, protecting and preservation property connected therewithin, do not apply in accordance with Section 3 of the Act. The mines of the form of their act of the June 2nd, 1989. 1891 Public Law 176, number 177, entitled an act to provide a health and safety persons employed within and about the earth anthracite coal mines of Pennsylvania for the protection of the preservation property connected therewithin do not apply with accordance in Section 32 of the Act. B. Workable coal seams inject the gas for the storage for purpose of workable coal seams, whether or not their being has been mined and prohibited. Original extraction, nothing in the chapter prohibits original extraction of the natural gas, crude oil, or coal. Certain rock formation, nothing in the chapter apply with the storage gas liquid in storage reservoirs, excavated rock formation specifically in storage purpose. Subchapter D, eminent domain.